Hi, I'm Tim and thanks for watching this video. Now Grandstream keep coming up with new products all the time, and in this we're going to be looking at this and also this, which is Grandstream's complete home Wi-Fi system. So we've got the Wi-Fi 6 router or router, whichever you like to refer to them as, and also this, which is their plug-in access point, which can be used to mesh the two devices together. So let's get to it, take a close look, and then we'll go into the web interface and see what this features and functions this can actually do. So let's get to it. So this is the Grandstream GWN7062M, which is their model number, and it's their high performance Wi-Fi 6 router or router, whichever you like to refer to them as. So at the front here we have the status lights. So we've got the power light, Wi-Fi, the 3 LAN ports there, 1, 2, 3, and port number 4, which can be used as a WAN or dual LAN port, whichever. So you can have a backup WAN on port 4, and then we've got port 5, which is the WAN port. So that's a combo port. So that supports both Ethernet and SFP. And then moving along, we have a USB status light as well. So we've also got the Grandstream logo on the front. And then at the back, of course, we've got the ports. So at the left side, we've got the barrel connector for the power, and that is rated at 12 volts. We have a sync button, so that's used for pairing meshing devices to, if you want to mesh a home Wi-Fi system, for example. Then we have the reset button there, so that's used to factory reset it. We have a USB 2 port, which can be used, for example, as a mobile USB dongle, so you could plug a mobile USB dongle to give you backup Wi-Fi if you wanted to, so for example 4G or 5G. Then we have port number 5, which is a dual combo port, so it has a 2.5 gigabit RJ45 connection, and also under the cage here, so take the rubber cover off, we have a 2.5 gigabit SFP cage there. So that's a combo port, so you cannot use both of them at the same time. You can use one connection or the other, depending on how your fibre connection or internet connection comes into your home. Then we have port number 4, which can be used as a WAN and LAN port. So that could be used, for example, with a dual WAN setup, so you could have it as a WAN, or if you want to, just use it as a LAN port. Then we have ports 3, 2 and 1. Now ports 3 and 2 are 1 gigabit, as is port 4, which is that dual WAN port, that's also 1 gigabit. Then moving to the right, we have the port number 1, which is a 2.5 gigabit port. So that would be ideal, for example, if you're using a high performance PC, or if you wanted to connect to NAS where you're streaming media around your home network, then you could use that 2.5 gigabit port if your NAS supports 2.5 gig, of course. Then we have the 5 antennas, which can be angled and rotated at which angle you want them. And this on the bottom, you'll see, is a grill. So it's totally silent in operation. It's used for passive cooling, so that's why there's a big grill at the bottom. And also you'll notice there that there's 2 recessed holes there, which can be used to wall mount it, so you can have it mounted on a wall or just sit it on a desk or a shelf with the antennas pointing in whatever direction you want. Now this can be used as a whole home Wi-Fi system, so you can actually mesh it with one of these, which is the GWN7660EM, which is one of their plug-in wireless access points, which can be used to mesh it to this router. So all you do is plug it into the wall socket and you'll get the corresponding correct pins for your country. So it just removes, and you can just fit your own, depending on what location you're in, it will be supplied with the right connector. So it just locks into place, and then you plug it into the wall and then pair it, which I'll show you pairing later on in this video, which is really easy to do. Now the specifications for this. Now the total Wi-Fi throughput for this is 3 gigabits per second. So that's the aggregated throughput. The maximum power consumption is 18 watts, and the dimensions for this unit is 250 millimeters by 130 millimeters wide by 35.5 millimeters in height. Now it weighs just 400 grams, so it's a light, compact router which would fit in most home environments. Now just for the specs on the GWN plug-in access point, so the GWN7660EM, this can also support a maximum aggregated throughput of 3 gigabits per second. So with both devices, they both support 3 gigabits per second. It's a dual band Wi-Fi 6 and it has up to 120 meters coverage for this plug-in AP, and it supports a maximum of 128 Wi-Fi client devices. Now the router will support a maximum 256 wireless devices. Now this can be used on the Grandstream Home app to configure it, or the Web GUI. Now I've found after testing that there's a lot more features in the Web GUI than what there is in the app. Now I'm sure they'll be developing the app so that everything is all synchronized across all platforms, but you can also use it in GDMS, of course, which is their Grandstream cloud platform. So if you want to use it in GDMS, you can do, or in the local controller, which is the GWN manager, and which I'm hoping to do a video on later sometime on my channel, where I'll show you the GWN manager being installed and set up. So keep a look out for that video in due course. So moving on, it can support VLANs as well. So if you're interested in VLANs, which seems to be the hype and on YouTube, so there seems to be a popular subject at the moment with what VLANs you should use in the home and business. Well, for this you can support up to 16 VLANs. So if you want VLANs on this, you can do, and up to a maximum of 16. There's also parental controls built into this. So I'll tell you what, let's go into the Web GUI and then I'll show you all the features and functions in the Web GUI, and then I'll show you as well pairing this plug-in access point with this, which I've said is really easy to do. So let's take a look in the Web GUI now. So here we are, and I've logged into the Web GUI. Now the default IP address is 192.168.80.1, which will bring you to the network map page, which you'll see here. So you can see that the internet's connected. We've got the router or router, mesh nodes, which I've already added, and then clients. Then we've got Wi-Fi information, so it gives you the Wi-Fi access point name, so the SSID name rather, and the Wi-Fi band, 5G security mode, WPA mode, and the password, which I've already configured in the device. Now it will take you through a wizard when you first switch on the device and first log into it and get into the Web GUI. It will take you through, which you can get to by clicking quick setup here, which looks like the circle with the compass in it. So that'll take you through a quick setup guide, but we've already done that, so we'll exit from that. So you can get the router information, ports as well, so it gives you the statuses of each port. So you'll see the WAN is connected at 1 gigabits. Now this is double natted for this video just as a demonstration, so my negotiated speed would of course be 2.5 gigabits if it was connected directly to my internet service provider's ONT box. So then we've got the other green one, which is the LAN, and that's the PC that I'm on at the moment, which is connected at 2.5 gigabits. Then at the left hand side we have various traffic statistics graphs, also app statistics as well, so it will detect what app and protocol you're using. We have QoS, so quality of service, which you can set up if you want to do so. So you can give priority to say gaming, videos or web. So it's set on auto mode at the moment, but it is actually disabled. We have home care, which is for parental controls, the security firewall, which has a basic security firewall in it. So you cannot configure your own firewall rules, as it will do them automatically itself, which makes things a lot easier for home users. Then we have safe search. So what it will do is enable safe search, which will be enforced on search engines to automatically filter sensitive content and restricted items. Then we have the management platform. So here is where you can use it with Grandstream Home, or in the cloud of course with GDMS or GWN Manager. Then if we go down to advanced, we've got such things as internet settings, where you configure the dual WAN. We've got LAN settings, where you can create your VLANs. So as I've said, it will take up to 16 VLANs. Now, once you create a VLAN, it will automatically isolate it from the other VLANs. So it automatically creates the corresponding firewall rules so that each VLAN is isolated from each other. Then we have the VLAN port settings. So here you can allocate the VLANs to different ports on the back of the router. So we've got port 1, 2, 3 and 4, for example. So they're all set to VLAN ID 1, but they will allow traffic from VLAN ID 1 and 2 as well. So if you want to restrict it even further, you can actually remove VLAN 2 so that it's a completely isolated VLAN on those corresponding ports. You could also do address binding, where depending on what device is plugged in, it doesn't matter which port you plug it into, it will always associate it with a MAC address and the IP address. So then we've got the ISP information. So here you can select the working mode. So if you've got an IP that provides also IPTV or voice over IP, you can actually customize the internet connection so that it supports both using different WAN connections and also different VLAN IDs for the WANs. Policy routes, we've got various policy routes for load balancing, for example, and then Wi-Fi settings. We've got where you can create up to 16 Wi-Fi SSIDs. Now, why you would need 16, I'm not sure, but the recommended is to have about no more than 4 wireless SSIDs. Now, you can also have a guest Wi-Fi portal set up as well, which I'll show you in a moment. So this is the guest network. So this will be completely isolated from all other VLANs. So in general settings here, you can see we've got the channels, so you can change the Wi-Fi channels or let it dynamically optimize them with that option here. Then we've got the meshing option, which I'll come back to a bit later. We've got clients, so it provides a list of clients where you can block them, for example, kick them off, change the settings so you can give the client a different name. If you want to name it differently, you can do. Traffic management, we've got traffic statistics, QoS, so you can set up QoS rules. And then we've got NAT, so we've got port forwarding, DDNS, UPnP, DMZ, and also then security and security firewall. So we've got basic defense enabled by default. Then you can also enable content security detection as well. So if we click in defense statistics, it gives you the information of clients and then the number of protections as well. Content control, we've got URL filtering, so you can add URLs which you want filtering and blocking. URL classification, so here it's got a whole list of different categories which you can block or allow depending on your use cases. Now this gets updated, so there's 19 classifications at the moment and 223,248 URLs as of this firmware version, which is on the latest version at the time of recording this video. Then we've got app filtering as well. So if you want to filter different apps for games and so on, you can actually filter those or allow them. Then we've got block list. So if you want to add anything to the block list, you click add, then the MAC address, and it will block that device from accessing your network. VPN, so there's VPN services in here such as WireGuard, IPsec, OpenVPN, PPTP, and also L2TP. Now, I would recommend using WireGuard, which they also recommend as well. So then with remote users, you create your remote users for your L2TP or OpenVPN or IPsec, for example. We've also got IPv6 in here. So you've got that on the WAN as well as the LAN as well. So you can enable IPv6 on the LAN with the various options here. So you've got stateless, stateful, IP6 relay, SLAAC and disabled. So we'll cancel that. Then you've got the Wi-Fi captive portal. So you could create a Wi-Fi captive portal as well. Then we've got USB applications. So the USB dongle, you would say detection once you've plugged in the USB dongle, and it would detect what type of dongle that is. And you can also use a network printer. So you can plug in your USB printer in the back of the router or router and let it have detection, and then it will be able to be used on the home network so that you can print to the USB printer. So also there's network sharing. So if you've got, for example, a NAS or flash drive that you want to share files to on your network, then you could use that. Then under maintenance, we've got the upgrade. Now this is on the latest version of 1.0.1.98 for the GWN7660EM plug-in AP meshing device. It's on the latest version of 1.0.24.9. So if you want to manually upgrade, you can do by using this button and then selecting the firmware bin file that you want to update to. Now by default, the automatic upgrade is disabled. So then going on to the next option, we've got backup and restore. So you can back up and restore the configuration for the router. Then we've got diagnostics. So here we've got all the information about the network diagnostics, ping, trace route, for example, one-click debug, maintenance tunnel, and link tracing as well. Then we've got TR069, and then we've got system, basic settings, access management, and then where you can change the password, user account, and so on. Then lastly, we've got operation mode. So here you would set it as a router or router. You can also mesh it with a wireless relay mode. So here it will give you the description. So both the main router or router and the secondary router or router would be broadcasting the Wi-Fi signal, or you can have it in wireless bridge mode where the main router or router is just broadcasting to the second router or router where it's then broadcasting to clients. So in that case, there's just one wireless access point which is used for the second router or router, or of course the plug-in access point. So at the moment it's in router or router mode. So we've got the internet connected to the router or router and it's broadcasting to wireless clients. Now also the plug-in AP is also broadcasting as well. So moving on to how you pair the plug-in access point to the router or router, then this is how you do it. So what you would do is plug in the meshing access point, wait for the LED to turn from green, and it will then change colour in a moment to solid pink. So once it turns to solid pink, you'll then go in and click add. So from the Web GUI, you would click add under the meshing option, and then you would select GWN7660EM, which is the plug-in access point. Then make sure that it's ticked and then select next. Then it will give you the mode that you want to select. So for sub mode, which we'll be using, you would click next. Then once you've clicked next, you would select start adding, and then it will search for the plugin AP, and as you can see, it's found it here. So then the light will start flashing pink, and then we'll just wait patiently for the search to complete, and it will then say detected the device. So here you'll see it's got a tick against it. So we just click add, and then it wait for the plugin AP to be added. You'll see that the light is flashing, and what we need to do then is press the syncing button on the plugin AP and hold it in for 4 seconds. And then you'll see the light turns solid. So then we wait for it to configure the device, which it's doing now, as you'll see on screen. The light is still solid, but it's changed to a different colour. It's changed to now blue, and you'll see that we just wait for it to finish configuring, which just take a few minutes. And then the light will flash green, which it's doing now, as you can see, and then it will turn solid blue, and you'll see that it's finishing the configuration process. So then it will flash blue and green, and then turn solid blue, which means it's now been added and connected into the GWN7062M router or router. So you'll see we get the MAC address, IP address, and LED indicator, which you can configure if you want to change the light, for example, by clicking the box with the pen, and then you can edit the device name and also set the LED indicator status, which is set to follow the main router LEDs as well at the moment. So you can also power cycle the AP as well there. with the power button and delete it with the delete icon. So that is how easy it is to add the plugin AP into the GWN7062M Wi-Fi 6 router or router. Now finally, the GWN7062M, which is the router, is priced at around $90 at the moment, and the GWN7660EM, which is the plug-in access point, is priced at around $70. Now these prices equate to around, for the router or router, £70 here in the UK, and for the plug-in AP it's priced at around £58 here in the UK. So that will do it for this video. If you want a whole home meshing Wi-Fi system, then this would be one of the units that I was consider buying. So everything I've said in this video is all of my own opinion, and Grandstream have not seen or reviewed this video before being uploaded, and they haven't told me what to say in this video either. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it useful. Take care, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye for now.